The most corroborating evidence we have is that 1023 form from this highly credible, confidential human source, according to U.S. Attorney Scott Brady.
Yeah, nothing to see there, folks, other than the fact that Jim Jordan and the MAGA Republicans relied on a Russian asset in order to pursue an impeachment inquiry against President Biden and defame President Biden and his son Hunter Biden with completely false information. We're learning more details right now from the government's memorandum in support of detention of Alexander Smirnov. That's the individual who you heard Jim Jordan talk about as being very credible, who actually turned out to have completely lied to the FBI. That became this 1023 form, which basically funneled and laundered all of this disinformation from Russia, from Vladimir Putin, to try to take down President Biden. And the MAGA Republicans were just willing accomplices, as Todd Zwillich says. Just so everyone's clear, this would mean that Russia successfully used MAGA Republican Senator Chuck Grassley, MAGA Republican Congressmember James Comer, Jim Jordan, Fox News, and others to damage the President of the United States and make fake info about him, an article of faith on the right. This became MAGA Republican orthodoxy at this point. And by the way, in terms of, who's saying that he's a Russian asset, well, Smirnov is. Let's just take a look at what Alexander Smirnov said during his custodial interview with the FBI on February 14th, when he was detained in the United States, where he was making a brief visit here, almost certainly as a Russian asset. Smirnov admitted that officials associated with Russian intelligence were involved in passing a story about business person number one, that's Hunter Biden. So this was coming directly from the Kremlin through Alexander Smirnov, who has relationships with Vladimir Putin. It was being passed through a 1023 form, which frankly anybody can file with the FBI. It was put on this 1023 form and then funneled by Donald Trump's inner circle, spread to the MAGA Republicans in Congress in order to take down President Biden. It's right before our eyes right there. And again, you don't have to find, the needle in the haystack here. It's right there before our eyes. And, look, you think about scandals in the past, like, Watergate. Really? You have the Russians laundering disinformation through Alexander Smirnov. It is in writing. Wake up, media. Report on the facts here. Simon Rosenberg gets it. Democratic strategist. I call him more a pro-democracy strategist at this point. Rosenberg says, Russian intelligence are looking at Republicans, and what they see are little kids jumping up and down, shouting, pick me, no, pick me. So I showed you Jim Jordan there. Let me show you prior statements by MAGA Republican James Comer, also saying that they've got a real credible whistleblower here, who turned out was Smirnov, who admits to being a Russian asset. Play this clip.
Claims. What is the whistleblower saying specifically?
Well, as you know, Maria, Senator Grassley and I have reviewed a legally protected and highly credible whistleblower document, which alleges that there was an exchange of money for policy decisions made by then Vice President Joe Biden. We have determined that whistleblower is extremely credible. And based on the bank records that I've been getting, and you and I have been talking about on your show for weeks now, and based on the fact that 9 different Biden family members have been receiving payments from a web of LLCs that are receiving payments from our adversaries around the world, this fits a pattern of questionable behavior that the Biden family members have been doing to receive funds. So we take this whistleblower claim very seriously. We know it exists. We know the FBI has the document. As Senator Grassley said, it is not classified. So we want that document in our possession. And we also want to know what the FBI did to verify the claim of the whistleblower.
All right, well, what about MAGA Republican Senator Chuck Grassley? What did he say on the floor of the Senate about this very credible informant that they were all relying on? Remember this? Play this clip.
And publicly released what's now called the Biden family 1023, an FBI document. This FBI generated document based on information provided to the FBI by a highly credible, long-serving FBI confidential human source. The FBI document shows a criminal bribery scheme. The criminal scheme included Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, each being paid $5 million for Joe Biden to take a policy position in favor of foreign nationals. They were very eager to falsely attack my and Senator Johnson's Biden family investigation as Russian disinformation. Sadly, I haven't seen the same enthusiasm for the other side now that a Democrat political family is under the microscope.
Well, let's go into the document. Let's dig in a little deeper right now. Let's take a look at page 16. Of particular note, Smirnov has reported numerous contacts with Russian official one, who has been described by Smirnov in a number of ways, including as the son of a former high-ranking Russian government official, someone who purportedly controls two groups of individuals tasked with carrying out assassination efforts in a third-party country, a Russian representative to another country, and as someone with ties to a particular Russian intelligence service. This latter fact was reported by Smirnov in October 2023. In December 2023, Smirnov reported to his handler about a recent overseas trip where Smirnov attended a meeting with Russian official 2, who Smirnov has described as a high-ranking member of a specific Russian foreign intelligence service. According to Smirnov, the purpose of the meeting was to discuss a potential resolution to Russia's war against Ukraine. During the same trip, Smirnov apparently attended a separate meeting with Russian official 1, the individual who controls groups that are engaged in overseas assassination efforts. During this meeting with Russian official 1, Russian official number 1 claimed that another individual, Russian official 4, the head of a particular unit of a Russian intelligence service, ran an intelligence operation at a club located at a particular hotel. Smirnov told the FBI handler that a Russian intelligence service intercepted cell phone calls made by a guest at the hotel. The Russian intelligence service intercepted several calls placed by prominent U.S. persons the Russian government may use as compromat in the 2024 election, depending on who the candidates will be. As described below, this story, which again was relayed by Smirnov to his handler in or about December 2023, appears to mirror the story that Smirnov was pushing on investigators and prosecutors during their meeting in September 2023, in which Smirnov pushed investigators to look into whether business person 1 had been recorded in a foreign hotel. Most recently, Smirnov has reported meetings in or about December 2023 outside the United States between top officials of another country and Russian officials. B. Contact with a Russian official on November 27, 2023, where Russian officials provided Smirnov with information on his knowledge of certain Russian military operations in a third country. And C. Contact with a Russian intelligence service operative and top Russian representative to a third country on November 8th, 2023. It goes on to, again, talk about, you go to that first page that I was talking about as well here in the filing, or on page 5, where Smirnov just says, during his custodial interview, Smirnov admitted that officials associated with Russian intelligence were involved in the passing of the story of business person 1. I mean, it's right there in black and white. This is the person who Republicans relied on. This was their star witness. Their entire impeachment inquiry against President Biden was based on a Russian spy. Oh, I should put a little asterisk there, because They also tried to base it on a spy for the CCP, another spy, this one for the government of China, who was also someone who was selling unlawfully military equipment to Libya and Iran. That's who MAGA Republicans were relying on here. I spoke with Democratic Congress member Jared Moskowitz about this as well. Here's what he had to say. This one, not a spy of China like the other one. This one, a spy of Russia, which we still kind of knew before that, which was maybe a big hint that this so-called whistleblower wasn't credible. But now this individual, Alexander Smirnov, has been arrested, being prosecuted by the special counsel David Weiss for lying on this 1023. What do you make of this, all Congress member?
Yeah, shocking that the guy with the last name the same as a vodka from Russia didn't turn out to be the most credible person of all time. Nothing. It's just, look, this is the 118th Congress, baby. I mean, just strap in, because this thing's just a roller coaster, right? Remove a speaker, that never happened in American history. Remove a cabinet secretary, that hasn't happened in 150 years. It's happened never when you had no treason or high crime or misdemeanor. So put the Constitution aside for a second. We removed a member of the House, that hadn't happened in 20 years. And, once in a while we can fit in a censure resolution when we have time. And now we have our dear friend, James Comer, who we wish the best for. Thoughts and prayers to James Comer as we watch the death of his faux, fake, frivolous Biden impeachment come to a bitter end, because this 1023 form was the birth. This was the birthplace of the idea that Joe Biden should be impeached, right? He got $5 million, secret FBI informant. Members had to go see the form in a SCIF, secure location, right? It was a protected document. He was credible. And yet we find out he made the whole thing up. He made the entire thing up. He's now been indicted for lying. And James is 2-0, baby. 2-0. This is the second informant that James has had indicted. Like you mentioned, the first one was a Chinese foreign agent who was selling oil to the Iranians and arms to the Libyans. And so, look, James is crushing it. And I don't know if you heard, but Special Counsel Hur will be coming to Congress in a couple of weeks. But guess where they're not sending him? Oh, they ain't sending him to oversight. Nope, took that away from James and is giving that to judiciary instead.
And folks, this is a big deal. Do not let media gaslight you into thinking it is not. I understand that perhaps the New York Times and others are not going to put this on the front page the same way they ignore the fact that Donald Trump is basically saying that he wants to take down NATO in order to help Vladimir Putin. But screw him. Screw him. What we can control here in the Meidas Mighty community, where we have more viewers than them, is we can share this data, which is why we share the court filings, why we go over everything, and why we ask you, we need your help now to share the videos and let people know what's up. Let people judge for themselves. And look, there's MAGA cult members who are so deep down the rabbit hole, they would love Vladimir Putin to come in and destroy the United States of America. They basically want that when it comes to Donald Trump. Lost causes right there. But there are mainstream Republicans, there are independents, there are people who don't follow politics, who don't know this stuff. So please, please, please share this video, share the MeidasTouch network with those people, and let them know what's up and how serious this is. Together, you, the Meidas Mighty, are going to help save our democracy. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million subscribers together. Have a wonderful day.
Hey, Meidas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.